I don't have an intro, so I'm currently working on a discussion video for the newest Fast X film, but I did get around to seeing the new Spider-Verse movie with some friends, so consider this a bit of a curtain raiser while I get that video out. Going into Across the Spider-Verse, I was expecting it to fall a bit flat compared to the 2018 film. Not to say I thought it was going to be bad, but rather that Into the Spider-Verse was so good that I made sure to keep my expectations in check. Into the Spider-Verse literally changed the way I looked at films when I viewed it in 2018, as it made me realize that even films I considered perfect are not going to be amongst my favorite movies of all time. That is to say that I think Across the Spider-Verse is going up against what I personally believe is to be one of the most airtight superhero films ever made. That being said, Across isn't something that changed my perspective of film or life or anything, but still a really fun time. Aesthetically, they top themselves, which I didn't know was possible. There are like certain parts of characters that are different frame rates from the rest of their body, and I don't even know how that works. They do an excellent job at throwing Miles, Gwen, and Peter B into enough fresh scenarios that never felt like it was leeching on the first film, but rather expanding upon it. These characters are more fleshed out now, and the film showcases this by having them go through much more mature plot threads. Across also expands on Into the Spider-Verse with its meta-commentary on Spider-Man as a whole. The first film established itself as a story about not letting who's wearing the mask affect the values of Spider-Man, and this one tackles more about what those values of Spider-Man really are. There's a thing introduced by Miguel in this movie called the canon, which is absolutely the film poking fun at Spider-Man fans who try to dictate what is and isn't synonymous with Spider-Man. In a way, Miguel is kind of a commentary on the current Spider-Man fandom, and I thought that kind of thing showed a lot of self-awareness and was super interesting. Also, I love the spot in this movie. Wes Anderson's boyfriend did a great job with his performance. It is kind of a shame that he doesn't get a very satisfying resolution in this one. I understand that this is a two-parter, but there is a very distinct lack of Spot around the second half of this movie. Spider-Man India was also adorable. The way they used him to set up the catalyst for this film was genius, and it's nice to see a Spider-Man whose true superpower is his lack of depression. One complaint though, I thought the pacing was really rough. There are a lot of scenes where a point is established and yet the scene will still linger on it, especially in the second half. The first film was very quick and to the point, so in comparison you really do feel the 140-minute length, but there is a lot going on in this movie, so it never feels too distracting. Regardless, Across the Spider-Verse is able to effectively remove itself from the shadow of its predecessor while still being a very unique visual spectacle. I just hope that for part 3, they trim some of the excessiveness and really get to the core of what the story is trying to tell. Overall though, good movie. Go watch it.